Um, Let me just thank everybody for taking time out of your busy day, especially on a Friday, to accept the invite and to log on with us and take a look at some of the new offerings we have. What this is going to hopefully turn out to be is a bi-monthly meeting that I can provide an hour for everybody and give you a preview of our technology. Each one of these meetings I'm going to record, and we're going to store it on our internal SharePoint drive. And I will send out the link to everybody this afternoon. We're going to call that SharePoint link Smart Source University. We're going to include all of our training material that we do via GoToMeeting, and also any information on sites we use or technologies we use. This first meeting is going to be about an old friend. As you can see it on the screen, it's 451. 451 recently went through a pretty massive upgrade to their system. And I want to kind of take a minute to explain the basis of 451 to everybody so you can understand what a monumental upgrade this is and what we can use it for in the future, and really what it opens up for us to sell to our customers product-wise. In the late 1990s, early 2000s, a lot of the companies, when they were developing online ordering platforms, because of the limitations of computers on the client side, everything was built server side. When you do application development like that, what happens in order to make that financially viable, you have to build the system to where it incorporates all of your customers. So it becomes a one site for everybody, and then you try to do minor changes in it to accommodate those individual customers. So you create this monolithic application that's very unwielding. And I think some of you might have noticed that came from larger companies that when you would go to your IT staff and say, hey, I want to add this field so they can put in this information, and they'd come back to you and say, that's going to take about 3 months. And you're like, what, are you kidding me? You know, I just need this one little field. Just add the damn field. Well, then they have to go back and map the entire route and every place that one little field hits. And for those of us that have working with 451, it's very similar. In order to get a change, you know, you put in a change order and then they send you back the bill of $5,000. Kind of like owning a BMW or Mercedes. Every time you take it in, it's $500. Doesn't matter if you're changing a spark plug, $500. Well, that's what happens with 451, and the reason for that is because it becomes this huge pile of spaghetti, and in order to that field, they have to unwind the entire mess, figure out where that field is, and then map it to everything. And, you know, try to imagine a big change. A big change, it's like, okay, we'll do it in a year. But so as time goes by and you build that mountain of bricks on top of everything, it becomes almost impossible to do a new release and add features. So what 451 has done is they've gone back to the beginning, and they've used web services to connect all this up and give a completely different interface and move all of the transactions to the client side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through kind of what they've done on their side and what the meaning is to us, and then show you a demonstration of what their new OrderCloud 2.0 is. Another neat thing that 451 did in this transition was, rather than revamping their sites and then trying to deal with the mess of converting everybody over, they made it a companion item. So in the customer we're going to show, Alpha Tech Spine, we actually log in into their current site and take a view at what they have. So we see the current 451 site. Those of you that have clients up on this know exactly what this looks like. They all pretty much look the same. And here's the 451 site that we currently use. So right alongside of that, they added in OrderCloud 2.0. OrderCloud 2.0 allows us to create an individual application that's tied just to that customer, but uses the entire dynamic back end of 451 that we're accustomed to. All the inventory, the approval processes, the categories, all of the features that they have within their application now, we can make an individual application just for our customers and tie into all that in the background. And the way they've done it is through a series of neat little applications within it. Now, SmartSource for our customer Alpha Tech has created a version of the storefront that our customer has asked us to design, and I'm going to run you through just some of what we've created for them. Within that customer, we no longer need to send in requests for color changes. Right within the application is the ability to take the color changing and to brand it right from within the page and get a preview. So the color that's in the header of the page is right here. The border is right here. So the border that goes around the branding, right here. It also previews it in a mobile device. And we'll actually get the mobile aspect. Okay, don't put us on hold if you have to leave. Just mute your phone. Also, the branding section of it, we can actually change the branding of it right here within the page. No need to have send to me or Steven or Mike Mobeck or any of our programmers that we use to have them do it. This can literally be done as we're setting up the item. Every feature of the site is configurable. Even the name of the buttons within the site. So if you have a shopping cart and your customer wants to change the name of that, we can do that right in here. How the actual site is formatted, how the individual product is viewed from within your site, we have pre-configured formats. And as I go through them, you can see that we're changing how that site can look. So, for example, rather than a string of singular, products, you can have it come down in a list, or you can have it displayed across the page. And each one will change it. And if we decide that we want to change it, which I'm going to show you here in just a minute, we can change this just by clicking on the various different layouts that you can use. The same thing is true with the categories. Each category has the ability to change individually. And then, if all of this doesn't work for you and your customer doesn't like the 12 separate platforms that we have, the code editor is actually built into it, and we can go in and directly edit the code right on the web page quickly and easily. So it really gives us the customization that we haven't had in the past, and the ability to make quick and dynamic changes to the site. So the particular customer that we are looking at came to us about 5 months ago, and they, in essence, told us that they want their entire site to be able to be viewed on a mobile platform. So they no longer want it to be the traditional 451 site you might see, PTI Marcom, all of the business-to-business sites in our space are all just web browser based. This customer is very, very forward-thinking, and a lot of their people work in the field continuously and only have access to mobile devices. So they wanted this entire site to be accessible via mobile device. So what we did is we actually created our own application within here that is completely responsive. It adapts to any device that you could possibly want. And it's all done here within the page. It's no custom programming. We just set the site up to accommodate that. So the first one is we're taking a look at the old AlphaTech site. Here it is. Here's what it looks like. It has that old 1990s feel. The next site that we're going to punch out to is the new, completely revised AlphaTech site that runs in a totally modern interface. Exactly what this customer wanted. As you can see, we now have a site that's designed with programming techniques from 2000 Everything loads on the customer, so we get an incredibly fast response. AlphaTech has a lot of products. You saw how fast that loaded right up. It's designed to be completely on a mobile platform. You'll notice design interfaces for our customer, for them to be able to view their product quick and easy fashion on a mobile device anywhere they are. But the good thing is we don't lose any of the features we're accustomed to. We have the entire reporting structure of 451, all the approval process, the complex approval process, and it's all integrated. But as this site goes down to smaller platforms, it adjusts. And you can see all the way down to what would be viewed on a mobile device, like an iPhone or an Android, adjusted up to what would go traditionally on an iPad, and then right back to a web browser. It's all designed within this. Even cooler in this, we built this platform, and then we add in the product list capability and the category list, so we can adjust this category list without having to go to a programmer. Just by clicking on the picture you like, it's going to ask you, would you like to update it to the full screen mode? We're going to say yes. We're going to come back over to the categories. We're going to refresh the page. And it's going to change the format. So you can see that it's now the long format with the item going down. So no programming was involved, just simply looking at a picture, clicking the picture, changing the picture. And then when I want to go back to what the customer requested, I click on it, click OK. So what we have here, everybody, and just to give you a rough idea of how this could be helpful to you in the selling out there when you're selling, there is no other platform in our space that is actually responsive and adjusts. There is no competitor in this area. Right now, 451 is the only one that has it, and we're one of the first one of their customers to implement it. So it's completely new and only available through us. If we want to order a product, it's not much different. Step through the process. It even works with the maximum order quantity. As we see, we've got 5 here. It won't let me order 6. It grays it out, and we can add it to cart. Now, if you'll notice, it's also a single-page application. So my cart's up here in the upper right-hand corner. So you can see the actual cart as you go. Now, to give you a kind of a rough idea on what this means, a lot of people on this call, we've talked about our ability to add in features to 451, and it really becomes, it's really hard right now under the current platform. But with the new platform, we can start to think about what we can do as a company to add to this. We're already developing various different platforms to go. So you can see on the OrderCloud, I've already added in 3 separate platforms that do different things, which we're going to touch on in future meetings. This one is designed to be a responsive site. Other things we're going to work on is being able to integrate with our customers the various different aspects of this site and allow them to get some of the features that they've asked for that we haven't been able to respond to. Every customer that we currently have on 451 can be converted in less than a day. Okay, let me, just to back up. Any customer that is currently on 451 can have the feature I'm showing you in just a couple of steps. So I'm going to show you a customer that I converted after I finished the AlphaTech site. I went in and converted a customer that had been on our site, that had left our company, and I had added them to the OrderCloud 2.0. And what I did was I just used the same format that we had established for AlphaTech in the OrderCloud storefront 1.0.8, I created the application, added the pre-configured application that we had for alpha text, and we were done. All I had to do was go into our color editor and give some of the branding details that Legoland is used to, adjust a few of things in there. I changed their category because they display a little bit different. And we had an entire custom-built responsive site for Legoland. So you can see that we were able to reuse that entire configuration with just a few color changes. Legoland is up and running. So it's not a major ordeal to convert our customers if they're interested. In fact, it's a pretty simple ordeal. It's just adding in that application, adding in the formatting, and then if we want to add a different application layout, we can just change it and add it to that, and then that one becomes available to the other customers. So this entire thing is live. Right now, alpha text, our customer has it in their hands, and they're going through it and requesting changes. And this is available to all of our sales force to go out and sell and demo. Also, this entire demo that we're going through right now is going to be available in a video where you can rewatch it, and we're going to edit the sound, and you can even feel free to take it with you to your customers so you don't have to go through the editing, and you can show it to them right from my video. Okay? I'm going to go through just a couple of quick little changes, again, to show you how easy it is to change. We're on the Legoland site. We're going to pop over and change the categories to where it's got a name overlay on the picture. We're going to go back to the page, reload it, and we have a different view of what the categories look like. That's simple. So basically, with one click of the button, we changed how the picture looked, we changed the overlay of the picture, we changed pretty much everything on the categories on that page. And even with the change, the site is completely responsive. So it'll adjust to whatever platform they're watching it, looking at the site on. So this is just the first version of the OrderCloud that we're going to use on 451, but there's 101 uses that we can apply to this. It's not just a responsive site that we can now add to 451. We'll be able to add in, the sky's the limit under the new platform. But more importantly, it's still, everything that we use now is still available. It still shows in real time our inventory. It still links up to our purchase orders. It still closes the job and returns the tracking number. It still does all the great features that we have with 451, but we've added in additional features. Okay? So I know I've gone through this kind of fast because I'm trying to be sensitive, so I know everybody on the phone call is busy. So if there's any questions, feel free to fire away. No questions?
Mark, who would be making these changes? Would this be our customer service rep that would be asked to do this?
Yeah, and I think if you look at it, what I just showed you, the changes are so easy now. I mean, the support people can do it. I set this one up. Stephen has access to it. Our vendors that we use for setting up our business cards and doing sites can also do it. It's very simple to do, so pretty much anybody in our organization could do it.
Would there be any impact on a vendor? Would they see anything different from their end for orders that the customer places on this new site?
No, and I think that's what the neat thing about it is rather than trying to rework the whole site and the whole back end, what they did was rather than trying to reimagine it, they took the simple part of it, the back end, the database, how the page flex, which generates our business cards and forms, they took all that and kept it in place, and then they just disconnected everything else, the whole user interface, and then redid that. So what our vendors are going to see on the back end is going to be exactly like what they're traditionally used to seeing. And more importantly, go ahead.
Sorry. I was going to say, is it possible for a customer to take a dry run of this, like to have you convert it over to this new format and let them test it out? If they, for some reason, did not like it, they could go back to the previous version?
Okay, and just to reiterate what I mentioned earlier, the previous version, so if you have a customer that's running on the current 451 site, and you say, hey, you know, they're really excited about learning about all the new features we have on OrderCloud, we can run the two simultaneously, which I believe, which is I think what AlphaTech's doing. Is that right, John? They're still running the old site and testing the new site?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, right now our first customer online, AlphaTech, is they're actually placing orders on the old site and as the new site runs. So both sites can run simultaneously. And the neat thing is that while they're running simultaneously, they're I think I might have got logged out of this one. Yeah, what you can see, all the orders that you're used to seeing on the new site are still there. So even orders that are placed on the old site, if the person doing the approving is on the new site, they still see everything the way that they would see it regardless of the site you're on. So the login I'm looking at can see all the awaiting approvals for AlphaTech, and I'm on the new site, and all these orders that we see here in the window were produced on the old site. So
will there be any difference in terms of the customer's ability to make administrative changes to the site, or is that still something that they need to funnel through us?
The entire administrative site is going to remain exactly the same. It's not going to change yet. But going forward, as we add features and the ability, there is a plan in the roadmap to put in more of a customer site that allows for stuff like that. And I think that's a good point. What makes this a really, I think, an incredible upgrade is the fact that they've disconnected it from everything. So they can go back and add in almost like a plug-in architecture. So it doesn't require a massive rewrite of the entire thing to add in little features to it. The entire thing that you're seeing on the screen is disconnected from every other customer except ours. It's our own little pagelet within the site. In fact, if you look at the site link at the top, it no longer just says 451. It's actually a subdirectory of 451 called AlphaTech, and that's where our pages reside. So every change we make is just unique to us, but it leverages the massive back end that 451's built up over the last 15 years.
Will the building of the approval process be the same, as extensive as it is on the previous site?
Yes. All the approval processes, every feature that we currently have in the existing 451 site is moved over to this. We don't lose any of it. The entire structure remains intact. It's just that they've disconnected it from the UI. So anytime an order approval is required, it's still going to happen, built on the functionality of the approval process we currently have. The purchase orders, when they're placed, they're still going to go through our portal right into our system, automatic, and all the inventory releases will go out the same way they do now. So it should be perfectly seamless to the current ordering process. There should be no variance, and they can use both simultaneously. So if, let's say, your customer wants to use the new application when they're on their mobile device, but the old application when they're on their web browser, even their login can be used on both sides. So my login, if I go to one page, is going to take me into this platform. If I use another page, it's going to take me into the old platform. Okay. Any more questions? Okay, everybody. Well, thank you very much for taking the time. Again, this entire presentation is going to be made available on our SharePoint, and I will be sending out the link to it Monday morning. So thank you for taking the time to visit, and have a great weekend.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
Thanks, Mark.